Hey, what's good, barbecue family? It's your boy Joe Mill here, back with Killer Miller Q, and today we got a first-time brisket cook on the Weber Kettle grill. This will be good. Let's get right to it. Okay, it's dark, it's late, it's a little chilly. Let's make a fire. So we've already got the snake method set up, so I won't waste too much time with that. We've got this pretty much down and perfected. I like the 2x1. So pretty much you got two of those charcoals touching at the bottom all the way around, with one on top, always touching. I'm gonna start it off with probably about 5 or 6 red hot charcoal briquettes that I'll start in a small little circle right there, and that'll be the beginning. And then slowly but surely this thing will work its way all the way around, and we should have some good flavor in there. I think I got some wood chips. Let me throw a couple of them on. There we go. Had a little bit of pecan pieces that I kind of threw in here in some chunk areas. We'll kind of throw those along the side. It's worked well before. Even though this cowboy briquettes actually are wood and they give off pretty good flavor, that'll give me a little something extra. But let's go check on these coals. Almost. I want them babies screaming red, so I'm gonna let them go ahead and hang out in there, and let's start on the inside and get this brisket together. All right, here go the magic. We got a beautiful looking prime brisket that I got from Sam's Club today. Got some good looking marbling in here, as you can see, going along into the flat area, and not too bad. At the end of the day, I'm not going to try to get rid of too much, but we'll clean this up just a little bit. I'll get this out the package, and we'll see what we can do. I'm looking forward to bringing this out. I got a new 6-inch boning knife that I grabbed when I was in Ohio from old Bearded Butchers. Hopefully it's as sharp as some of the ones I see them using, but been looking forward to you getting a chance to grab this one. Nothing too crazy. This is a Audionautix, 30 bucks. I can handle that price. Let's get this baby out and see what we can do. There we go, out the package. Not too bad of a looking brisket. This is a little over 12 pounds, I think 12.3. They got a little bit of a trim already in here for me, so basically I'm just going to end up rounding this off a little bit, taking off this edge. You can see this decal is already kind of spilled back a little bit, along with a little bit of this here. And then from there, we'll round off that side, and we should be pretty decent. I had to bring you back in here because this knife is so amazing. We're going to see if I can do this with one hand. So many times I would see people being able to trim their fat off going this way. And clearly, I just never had a sharp enough knife. As you can see, one hand on the camera, one hand right here, not gouging too much. And look at that, nice and thin. Oh, I think I'm impressed already. Okay, I'm good to go. I am blown away by the performance of that knife. I knew I didn't have the greatest knife, but man, I tell you what, when you get a good one, that'll really let you know. See a little blood vessel right there. We'll work and get that out. But overall, this is pretty decent. I didn't want to chop too deep into it. I did go ahead and round it out. Got me some good meat that I was able to kind of clean up as I was just playing around with that knife, that I'll put to the side, and I'll be keeping that. And then we got some fat to the side. Obviously you can melt this down and get you some more tallow. I got quite a bit, so I'm actually gonna be tossing that, so don't worry too much about it. Before I get into that rub, these coals should be pretty where I need them to be. There we go. Let's get these poured in. I'm start them right over here, and then I'll grab my nice and hot, and grab my little thing and pull them together so that way they be nice and tight. All right, there we go. Just kind of scooted them all nice and close together so they can just start bracing to be the beginning of the snake, the head of the snake, shall we say. I'm gonna go ahead and put the rack in, open up these vents wide open, and I'm gonna let this thing breathe for about an hour before we get this brisket on. Now, let's go make a seasoning. Okay, so I got a couple ingredients out here, nothing too crazy. Some coarse black pepper, some coarse kosher salt, some paprika, and then I got some granulated garlic. So we're gonna make my little Texas brisket rub. First, we're gonna use 3 parts of black pepper, 1 part of kosher salt, and then a half a part of paprika and a half a part of granulated garlic. And then we'll kind of mix all of that together and kind of go at it from there. Depending on how much you want, you know, a part is just gonna be an even measure. So I need to make a bit, so we'll use this right here. And here is that rub. Just threw it in one of my old shakers that I kind of had over here, old Killer Hawk shaker. But this is my Texas rub right here. I'm going to be running this thing fat side down today. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and flip this thing over. Season the fat side first. Come back over the top. Let this hang out a little bit longer. And we'll dial in the temps on that grill. There we go. Looking pretty, pretty, pretty. You can hang out where it's at. And then we'll get this pit dialed in. Okay, this is sat long enough. Let's step out there to that pit. All right, and this pit has dialed in to a little over 250, roughly close to 275. Once we get that cool meat on there, we should be good to go. But we got some nice clean smoke coming up off of here. It's time to get cooking. There we go. And I kind of got this baby long, a little close to the end. I'll readjust it before we get too far over here on that side. Pardon my view. That way it's not necessarily directly over there getting all of that heat. Once this side kind of airs out a little bit, I'll be able to sneak over here and use a little bit more of that. But right now, this is going to hold out right where you see it. All right? I'll bring you back here in a couple hours. Ain't going to be too much to see, but we'll make sure that this thing's keeping its good temp. So it's 2 hours in, and we done settled in at about 300 degrees, which I'm good with. We got some nice clean smoke. It smells amazing out here. I was just out here a minute ago. Let's take the first peek, because I haven't seen nothing yet of what we got and how we rolling. I can see some of that wood look like it caught a little bit. That's where we got a little bit of that run, but we smoking along nicely. Like I said, it's smoking nice and clean. Plenty of running to go. And I plan on moving this eventually over to the old pellet grill when it's time to hold it. So we just trying to get some good smoke and flavor in right now, and I can definitely see that that's happening. Let's close it up. All right, we back at the pit. 5.5 hours in. I fell asleep, which is good. Still rolling, smoking clean. Let's check it out. Ooh wee. Oh, look at that pretty looking brisket. I'm gonna give it a rotation, but that thing is looking proper. And we also want to go ahead and give it a spritz, and it might be about a good time for us to wrap. Okay, it really only looks like it's drying down here in that corner. A little self-basting going on, so it's looking pretty decent everywhere else. There we go. Let me give it a rotation. It's really looking pretty good on time. I mean, on overall temperature. Still not to the tenderness that I want it to be. I'm gonna be wrapping this puppy up, so I'm about to get my paper out for that. Hey team, I want to jump in here real quick, let you know thanks for following along on today's cook. And if you're new to the channel, go to that bottom right corner, make sure you subscribe, check out any videos you've missed. And if you're looking to support the channel in any other ways, go ahead and join the fan club, check out some of the healthy cooking series, some behind the scenes, and some early access into these videos. Other than that, let's get back to the cook. Back in the building. Good looking bark so far. Nice and moist looking. I pretty much just got my big two pieces of butcher paper that I'm gonna be using today. Initially I was thinking I might foil both, but since I'm so far along, it's been 5.5 hours. A lot of it's been pushing more from 275 to 300, so pretty much almost cooking hot and fast. I'm getting pretty close. My temperatures weren't too bad. However, as far as where it felt, wasn't quite soft enough, so I'm about to at least let it get about an hour. This is going to be a chopped brisket, so getting a little more tender and loosen up a little bit when it's wrapped. Basically, I got some liquid gold right there, some tallow that I had that we put down. I'm about to put a little bit on top, and we're going to wrap this baby up nice and tight like a Christmas present. It's going right back out on the smoker. Care package is officially ready. Let's get this thing back out there on the pit. Give it another hour or so, and then we'll go ahead and let it start resting up. Okay, back out at the pit. Like I said, we've been rolling along for 5.5 hours. We nice and wrapped up. Got some tallow on that thing, back inside some butcher paper. We're gonna let this thing hold out for about another hour. We already getting pretty close to our temp, so this shouldn't take too much longer. Fire's been rolling well. I'll see y'all back in a little bit. 7 hours, 18 minutes. We still running strong. I'm expecting this to be about done. Feels nice and soft. We've almost ran through what I had out here, so it's been over a good 8 hours or so because it's had to get going for a bit before I actually put it on. Yeah. Yep, we're looking good. Hardest part is you always got to pop through them layers of paper. Let's get it up off of here and prepare it for the oven. Back in the house, now that we got this baby up out of here, basically to break this stall, I'm just going to unwrap this. We'll be transporting this over into some aluminum foil. I'll add whatever tallow is still in here, just kind of pour it right on top of it, and we're going to wrap it right back up. It's got this 2 pieces of aluminum foil and a big cross, and then we'll get it nice and tight. And it's definitely held quite a bit of moisture, which is good. And this is like unwrapping a present at Christmas. Let's see what we got in here. Oh yeah, looking good. Looking real good. Little jiggle, we like that. Little wiggle. Okay. That bark will come back. Don't worry too much about that. Yowzer. This thing looks amazing already. Alright, so now it's definitely had a second to rest, let out a little bit of that steam. Let's wrap them up nice and tight. You can see we got some tallow in here. Just like that. Thing's nice and pretty. Let me tell you. I'm looking forward to getting on the hold of this one. It's a nice little pretty small brisket. At the end of the day, what did it start off at 12.3 pounds, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I think by the time you take off all that fat and everything, and then I did take off a little bit of the meat off at this point, just shaving it down. I mean, it's easily probably got down to around 10 to 9 pounds, something like that. 9 to 10 pounds, should I say. But we're going to go ahead now, nice and warm still. We'll get this right into the oven. Just got it on this little pan. I haven't turned my oven on yet. I'm just going to go ahead and put it directly in the oven, and then I'll go ahead and set it at my lowest setting. Nice and high right there in the middle. And mine defaults out at 175. I can handle that. So that way it's not already up to temp. It'll come up to temp with its own heat, and we'll kind of hold it out from there. 10.5 hours later, this baby has been holding, and it's time to get it out of here and see what we can do. Feels nice and soft. I'm expecting a pretty good product. Moment of truth. Woo! Still got some steam. I see some moisture down there. Good looking jiggle. I can already see it trying to separate on its own. Let's get it out. Woo! This thing looks amazing. Pretty juicy. Like I said, literally you can almost see the separation areas. If I just kept doing this long enough, I feel like it would literally pull across itself from the point in the flap. But we're gonna get this thing cut a little bit, and let's take a peek and open it up. Ooh, this thing is juicy, still warm. 10.5 hours later, there it is. Beautiful smoke ring, nice and tender, super juicy. I feel like this is super tender. I am very happy with this. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start off with some slices. As you can hear, I got a party in the background. We're gonna start off with some slices like normal. I'm definitely gonna chop up this whole back half, because we're gonna be doing some baked potatoes and loaded baked potatoes, sandwiches, sliders, like that. I'll show you in a minute. But then I'll see what I want to do, and if anything else, I can always chop this back up and have more chopped brisket. Okay, so I done already start breaking this thing apart. This is super juicy. I done had a couple taste testers. You can see the glove. We just enjoying some of this. We got a good bark. Beautiful smoke ring. We went hot and fast today. But this is exactly what I want. So it's a little bit more tender than I would normally get if I wanted all slices. But as you can see, for what I'm trying to do, it's absolutely perfect. Alright, there's a little bit of the finished product. Beautiful smoke, super tender, super juicy. I got a really messy cutting board, which is exactly what I wanted. Even though we got a 10.5 hour hold, didn't dry out. Liking this a whole lot. I'm gonna wait to chop up the rest of this, and we'll go through the initial. So I'm starting off with this baked potato. I'm going with butter and sour cream in here and salt and pepper. A nice amount of some of this chopped brisket. We'll add in a little bit of cheese. Maybe finish off with a little bit of bacon bits. Already I'll have some sour cream, and I think that's what we're gonna start with. This is what I'm gonna start with for my first concoction over here on Football Sunday. We got baked potato with butter, sour cream, salt, and pepper. We got a gang of brisket, as you can see, pouring out the top of there, along with a little bit of Mexican cheese on top, and just a little bit of that bacon, just to kind of make everything fun. Let me mix a little bit of this up, just because I love getting a taste of everything, and I can't wait to dig into this. And that's another one we got down. Let me tell you something. That brisket was one of my better briskets that I'd have made in a while. It was super juicy. It had a great flavor in there. That cowboy charcoal actually puts a great smoke in there. You saw the smoke ring. And then I think a lot of times people sleep on that chopped brisket. That was actually for a party. I had about 8 people that was going to be hanging out. So one thing that was nice about the chopped brisket compared to the slices, a lot of times when you're doing slices, especially if you got a lot of guys, stuff like that, that meat goes a lot faster than you think when everybody's getting a couple slices themselves. And then, you know, a lot of people stay away from the fatty and so on and so forth. But when you do that chopped brisket, you're able to get a whole lot of product, mix in a little bit of that fat with a little bit of that lean and so on and so forth, even though I only chopped up more of the flat side. But you can mix all of that in together. It gives a great flavor, but it's also a lot more for the presentation, I guess, or at least from the pick out. When you got like a party, people can come over there, they can get them a little bit, and if they just want to taste the brisket, they don't have to take a whole slice. They can just get a little bit of it and put it to the side. The other thing about that chopped brisket, super versatile. You can put it in a lot of things. I think you saw on the video I did a loaded baked potato. One of my favorite things to do when you guys chop brisket, you can just load it up in there. But I've seen people do that with a sweet potato. You could obviously put that on like a bun and add some barbecue sauce, maybe some pickles and some white onions or something like that. Have your brisket sandwich, toast you off a sandwich or a bread or something like that, some kind of Texas toast. Do you a sandwich that way. The options are endless. Or you can eat it straight up just like brisket along with your sides. So whatever you want to do is going to work. Now that snake method is foolproof, and it's so effortlessly. I was able to get my sleep in. We did about roughly 7.5 hours after it got wrapped up. But the other cool thing was being able to bring it in the house, hold it in the oven at 175, and basically hold it until I was ready for it at 10.5 hours and slide right into my party. It's a lot better to cook early than it is to cook late and be everybody sitting there waiting for the food. But that's another one down, fellas and ladies. I appreciate y'all for checking it out. Shouts out to the family, my boys over there at Black Smoke Barbecue, you out there in TV land. And if you haven't done it yet, check out the old fan club. Follow back in next week. I'll bring you a whole new video. I'll catch you soon. Peace.